Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Middleware Technologies. Today we are going to look at some of the features of Jakarta Servlet, that is filters and listeners. So here in this article we will try to build a very basic servlet based application and try to use the servlet filters and listeners in that demo. So let us see how we can achieve that in this video. So coming to my test environment, we have the following softwares installed on my workstation. So I have the OpenJDK, which is used to build the application. I have Eclipse Glassfish server, which I'll be using to deploy the application, and I have Maven, which is the software build tool that we'll be using, and we have VS Code that I'll be using to edit my code. Now let us try to understand what are Jakarta servlets filters. So filter is basically an object that is used to transform or request or response objects or its metadata. So basically it is widely used to transform the request object to append or add headers, or it is used to add attributes to a request object or response objects and provide it as a transformed object to the end user or to the application server. So that is the main purpose of the filter. Filters differ from web components. So web components are the one that generate the response, but filters are different from web components in that filters usually do not themselves create a response. So that is the main difference between a filter and a web component. And we can map these filters to web components based on the URL pattern. So this is very important. So filters are applied to only those web components for which a URL pattern is matching. Okay, so that is the thing about filters. Now let us try to understand what are Jakarta Servlet listeners. So basically, as we know, listeners are used to capture the events. So here in Jakarta Servlet listeners, these listeners are used to capture the events related to the web application, such as context initialization, destruction, request scoping, and session management. So basically it tries to capture the events related to when the web application has been initialized, or when it has been destroyed, or when a set of attributes have been added to the web application or removed from the web application context. So these are the types of listeners that are listener events that are captured using the Jakarta Servlet listeners. Now let us try to understand the high-level architecture that we are going to implement in this video. So here we can see there is a web client which will send the HTTP request and HTTP response objects to the Glassfish application server, and in the Glassfish application server, wherein we have a servlet container, we will be deploying these web components. So this HTTP request and response are converted to the appropriate HTTP servlet request and response objects, and these requests that are processed by the web components are transformed using the web servlet filter. So this is where the filters come into picture, and once the request and responses, if any, wherein the filters are applied, are transformed, they are further processed by the web components, and any listener, any events related to the web application components are captured and they are logged into the Glassfish login system. So this is how the high-level architecture that is going to work, we are going to implement over in this video. Now let us get into the procedure of like implementing a basic application that uses filters and listeners. So as a first step, we need to ensure that the following prerequisites are installed. So let me go into my shell and let us see like what are the prerequisites. So we have OpenJDK that is installed, so we can check the following version, and we have Maven with the following version installed on my workstation, and we need to ensure that the Glassfish server application server is downloaded and installed, and you need to ensure that the following path is exported so that you can work with the Glassfish binary in order to start and stop the domains. And also we need to update the Glassfish server admin console user password by editing the following file. So this is the file. So wherein I have updated the password for the admin user, and as you can see, this is the location wherein my Glassfish server has been like decompressed. So this is where like the property file lies. And in your case, like if you are decompressing it at a different location, you will need to update it accordingly. Now let us start our admin like application server. So I'm just going to start my application server as I have already have it installed on my workstation. So my application server is up and running. You can just validate it by logging into the following admin console. So this is admin console where you can log in with the credentials that we have set for the admin user. So now let us go to our next step, that is creating a Jakarta EE minimal project. So for this, like we are going to create a very basic arch type project. So let me copy this command. So here we are generating the arch type project which is of the following artifact ID, and this is the group ID for the arch type, and this is the arch type version, and the group ID for our application is going to be comstack, and the artifact ID is going to be Servlet advanced demo. So let us try to create this template project. Let us keep the defaults as it is. So our project is created. Let me go into that folder, and now let us remove the following content from the Servlet demo folder and from the resource folder. So we will be trying to build the application from scratch. Now let me clear my screen. Now let us go to our next step, that is create theme servlet.java file. So before that, let me open my template project that we have created in VS Code. So here like we are going to work on our project updates. So here like in the step 3, that is create theme servlet.java, like we are going to generate our basic theme servlet.java class, which is going to this servlet is going to generate a HTTP response when a request is received on the /welcome context. So the important thing about this theme servlet is like we are going to capture like we are going to use a attribute, that is theme attribute. We are going to use this attribute value to update the background color of the response that we are going to send to the end user. So basically what I mean to say is, this servlet is going to generate a response, but that response is going to update its background color based on a theme, update its background color with the value that is set for the theme based on the hour of the day. So that we are going to see further, like how we are going to set that attribute when we are going to like capture the request and update or transform it using the filters. So this attribute is going to be introduced into our request using filters in the servlet, which we are going to look in the upcoming steps. So as I mentioned already, so this is what we are going to do. So let me try to create this Java class. So here let us go to servlet demo folder and create this Java class. And here, like what we are going to do is, we are going to import all this the Jakarta servlet classes and interfaces and the java.io utils which we are going to use. And the next thing is, in order to convert a servlet to Java class to servlet, we need to extend it with HTTP servlet, and we need to annotate it with the following @web servlet annotation, providing the URL, the context root for the application. So let me do a copy for this whole content, and we will try to look at what exactly we are updated. So I'm going to copy this. So as I said, we have annotated the class with @web servlet and provided the context root, provided the URL pattern for this servlet, that is /welcome, and we have extended our theme servlet with the HTTP servlet class. And here is the main thing, the process request, that is going to take the request and response object, and it is going to generate a HTTP response. So in this, like as you can see, there is a request attribute that we are going to capture, that is named theme, and we are going to set that value to the background color, and we are going to capture the request context path also, and we are going to tell like what is the request context path that we have for this servlet, and then we will display the theme value that has been provided by the updated using the filters based on the day when the application has been launched. Okay, so this is the very basic process request, and this process request is going to be called in the doGet and the doPost methods that we are overriding. Okay, and this is the override method for get servlet info, that is just going to return this very basic string. So that is all about the theme servlet. Now let us go to our documentation. So we have looked at the theme servlet.java file. Let us now go to our next step, that is step 4. Here we are going to create a theme filter.java file. So here we are going to create a theme filter.java by annotating with the @web filter annotation. So this is very important. So in order to convert a Java class to a web filter, we need to annotate it with the web filter and provide a name to our filter. And also we are also providing the URL patterns, which helps to identify all the resources for which this filter is applicable. So as I mentioned already in the beginning, filters are applied to web components, and this is identified based on the URL patterns for which the filter is applicable. So that is also we need to define when we are creating the theme filter. We are creating the filter class, and let us try to copy this. Let us try to create this file first. Let me try to create this file first. So here in the Servlet advanced demo, we are going to create this file. Let me see what is the name of the file. Okay, so there is a space, so that is why it was not able to detect it as a Java class. So I have removed it. Now we are good. Now let me copy this whole thing as it is, and we will try to go through. So I have copied everything. So here are the utilities that we are going to use. So basically the important utilities that we are going to use is related to the date time or the calendar, wherein we will try to capture the hour of the day using these imported classes or interfaces. And then we have this Jakarta.servlet APIs that we have imported, which we are going to use in our application. Okay, so as I mentioned already, the theme filter class should implement the filter. So basically this is the interface which we need to implement in order to convert our class to a filter class. And also we need to annotate with the following @web filter annotation and provide a name to our filter. So this is basically this annotation is basically to provide the configuration for our filters, like what is the name of the filter and what is the URL pattern with which this filter is going to be mapped, so that those URL patterns will be filtered. So here, like, we are providing the URL pattern, that is /star. So anything under /star is going to be applied with the following filter. And then we are providing the initialization parameters. So let's say if there is no theme value is provided, this is going to be the default theme value that is going to be used or set in the request attributes, and will be sent to the and will be used by the responses. Okay, so now let us get into the important section, that is theme filter implementation of the filter class. So here, like, by default we are initializing the filter configuration with the initial parameter, that is theme. So this is the theme attribute, we can say, which we are initializing with the initial parameter value, that is this one. Okay, but here is where we are going to override basically that value, that is using the doFilter method. So if we are overriding this method, wherein we are taking the request and response objects along with the filter chain object. Okay, and we are applying this to steps of code using our calendar utility, wherein we are capturing the hour of the day, and based on the hour of the day, so let's say if it is morning, it is going to update with the following theme, background color theme for the response, and if it is during the following hours, this is going to be the theme that value that is going to be set. If it is afternoon, it is going to be set with the following theme, and if it is in the evening, it is going to be set with the following theme, and default is going to be the following theme if none of them is applied. And once we have the theme instance field updated, we are setting that field with the set attribute to apply that into the request object. We are applying that set attribute value to the theme attribute, and we are passing that request and response objects further to the chain object with the do filter. Okay, so basically if there are any further filters that needs to be applied for the request and response objects, that will be carried out in this function, method call. And this is a default destroy method which we are overriding for the filter. So this is the very high level information about the theme filter that we have created. Now let us go to our next step, that is step 5, create a theme servlet listener.java class. So as I said, the listener classes are used to capture the events related to the web application, and these captured events are logged into the application server logs. So let me just copy this theme servlet listener.java class. So here I am going to create this file, and now let us copy this content. So I am going to copy this whole content, and I'll try to explain you what exactly we are doing over here. So here, like, we are going to use the following utilities, the java.utility.logging for logging our event objects, and so in order to convert our class to a listener, we need to actually annotate it with at web listener, and we need to implement the appropriate interfaces for which we are going to capture the events. Okay, so for in this case, like, we are going to capture the events related to the servlet context and its attributes. And here, like, we are going to create a logger object which is com.stack.themeServletListener, and here we are going to override all the servlet context listener and servlet context attribute listener methods, that is context initialized, context destroyed, attributes added, attributes removed, and attributes replaced. Okay, so here if you can see, these are the event objects that are received by this listener, and we are logging this information to our logs based on the life cycle of the based on the events that we are capturing. Okay, and here you can see this is the attribute added event that gets added, wherein we are capturing the event name and the value that we have added with the event object. So this is how, like, we will be able to override our methods and capture the relevant information from the event objects that we have received. So that is all about the theme servlet.java class. Now let me go to our next step, that is step 6, update the pom.xml to deploy to Glassfish server. So the default pom.xml file that we receive, we can use it as it is in order to deploy it to the Glassfish server by just updating the following configuration. So let me do so in the properties file, we need to update with the Glassfish home directory, and once that is done, we need to go into the build plugin section. So we will need to add another plugin, that is the cargo plugin, in order to deploy to the Glassfish application server. So this is the org codehash cargo plugin that we are going to use to deploy into the application server. So let me copy this section. So as you can see, so this plugin is plugin is executed at the deploy step, so deploy phase we can say, and this is the configuration of our Glassfish server that we are providing it to the plugin. So this is the Glassfish home that we are providing, and this is a domain that is default domain that we get with the Glassfish server, and this is the name of the domain under that folder. So this is the basic information that we need to provide as a part of pom.xml file in order to automate the deployment using the Maven utilities. Now let me go to my documentation, and now let us look at the next step, that is build and deploy the application. So here, like once our pom.xml file is updated, the next thing is we can run our application. That is, we will do a clean package and deploy. So now the application has been deployed. So the next step is going to be validating our application. So as you can see that our theme servlet /welcome page has been loaded, and this is the background color theme that is set for our response based on the day. So right now it is 2:49. So you can see from the code in the theme filters, so it has applied the 7FFFD4 color code. So that is how we will be able to use our theme filters in order to update our request or response objects and further processed by the components or the further filter objects if there are any. And we can also look at the logging that happens in the Glassfish application server logs. So if I go to so this is the location wherein the logs are stored. In my case, so this is where the logging happens. So you can check at the logs. So this is our logging object which captures the event. So you can see the context initializer attribute has been set, our attribute has been removed. So this is what gets logged when we are using the listener objects. So this is what I wanted to show you in this video, like how we can utilize the filters and listeners in a very basic servlet based application. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you all. Thanks for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.